So I want to do a video response for Cherish My Daughter channel concerning Glamazini's video, Non-Black Person's Guide, What is Natural Hair. I really loved the video. I thought it was a really nice, concise summary of what a lot of us go through as we grow and end up not wearing our natural hair and relaxing or heat straightening our hair. And there was just one other piece that I wanted to share and add, which was what I'll call the long hair mystique. Not saying that there's anything wrong with liking long hair and wanting to grow your hair as long as you can. But one thing that I've noticed is that one thing that we struggle with is a major characteristic of our hair, which is the fact that it shrinks up tightly. And I think my hair right now is a good indication of that. If you see right here, this is about how long my hair is, but it shrinks up considerably shorter than that. And anyone who takes good care of their hair and is sure to moisturize it knows that the minute your hair is confronted with moisture, it shrinks up tightly. So if you are a person that grew up admiring Cinderella's hair, loving the story of Rapunzel, Sleeping Beauty, and Disney princesses in general, and all the things that little girls enjoy, if you ran around with a mop on your hair pretending that that was your hair, and the longer the better, you will be confronted with this issue with natural hair, that your hair could be quite long, but in its moisturized state, or in its unstretched, non-stretched out state, it is shrunken and it looks much shorter than what it actually is. And one of my daughters, I had stretched out her hair. There are ways to stretch out your hair without using heat or chemicals, but if you want to stretch it out to its maximum potential, then a chemical is necessary to pull out all the curls and to keep it that way. But I had braided her hair while it was wet and allowed it to dry, and stretched it out much longer than what it is when it's exposed to a lot of moisture. And it was down to the middle of her back, and she asked me, "Mom, what can I do to keep it this way? And what's the point of my hair being long if it never looks long?" And I have a habit, as you know, if you watch my videos, of explaining to my girls how important moisture is, and how we can stretch out the hair occasionally, but if keeping the hair stretched out means that we're going to deny it moisture, then what we need to do is not always have it stretched out. And so I think one issue that a lot of us deal with in the choices that we make to chemically alter our hair, and those of us who have been natural and sometimes may become frustrated, some of it might have to do with not being able to deal with the shrinkage, and not being able to accept the fact that a person with naturally nappy or kinky, tightly coiled hair may not always be walking around with some long flowing hair all the way down their back unless they do something to stretch it out. And some people can. There's no one hard and fast rule that's true for every person with natural hair, because our textures can be so different and can respond so differently to different methods of maintenance. But some people perpetually stretching out their hair and doing what it takes to keep the moisture at bay so that the hair can stay stretched out often results in dry and brittle hair. So the payoff is, you can, the consequence is, while you can stretch the hair out, you may not retain as much length by constantly stretching it out all the time. And so some people may try to use heat to get that long look. And another thing I wanted to mention also is that the long hair mystique is not only for women. I noticed that, and it's not only for black women. I've noticed that women of other cultures also like long hair, but mainly what I wanted to bring up was that men typically like long hair. For me, once I went natural and had my big chop and discovered what life was like with a teeny weeny afro, that would have been my style for life, because I absolutely loved how it looked. I liked you know, the lifestyle of just being able to wet my hair whenever I wanted, and styling didn't take much. You know, I felt like I could pull my look together really quickly and really easily. But my husband missed my long hair. You know, he wanted that long hair look. And it didn't have to necessarily be hair all the way down my back, but he wanted something framing my face. Like, you know, right now he's okay because there's something framing my face. He didn't like the teeny weeny afro look at all. And so I think men also, you know, are attached to long hair. And I remember having a white friend who said that as she got older, she didn't want long waist length hair anymore. But her husband, you know, she's moving into her late 40s, 50s. Her husband didn't want to let go of the long waist length hair. So it's long hair. The admiration of long hair, I think, is a thing that crosses cultural lines and ethnic lines. And but what do you do if your hair is not designed to look that way when it's loose? We know that Afro textured hair can be quite long in locks, but loose, you know, what if your hair does, you know, you have to do damaging things and you have to do harsh things for it to look long. And I think it's a battle as a people that we have had for a long time of trying to make it hang, make it lay down, make it be flatter, less puffy, less frizzy, basically characteristics that are almost basically opposite of what our hair was really designed to do. And so I think the issue in general about what is black hair, why it's natural hair for a black person, and why is it such a big issue, and why the big move for everyone to return to their natural texture, and why we're blogging about it so much, and why people are making such radical changes in their lives so that they could pursue that. I think it's a huge topic, and this little piece that I'm sharing only scratches the surface a little bit. But one thing I want to say is we need to be careful that we realize that this what I'm sharing is from my experience. What Glamazini is sharing, she said it repeatedly, is from her experience. There's no broad explanation for every black woman or every black person. And I think, you know, as we continue these conversations, which I think are very healthy, we need to make sure we stay respectful of each other. And maybe it might be a good idea to ask, as opposed to approaching someone and saying, I heard that the reason why your hair is always in a straight form is because you hate your hair. You might want to ask them, why is your hair in a straight form, and wait to see what they say. You might be surprised that their answer might be completely different. But from my experience and from my perspective, I think that the long hair mystique and the fight against shrinkage and the desire to enjoy the length that I really have. My hair is relatively long. In the back, it stretches down, you know, halfway down my back if it were straight. Could lead me to do things that might not be the best for my hair. But it's been part of my process to try to appreciate the fact that my hair shrinks up and it creates a fullness, and I have got these pretty tight little coils, and you know, God made my hair this way, and it's the perfect complement to my face. That's been a process for me to get to this place, and I'm happy about it, hoping to pass on what I know to my daughters. And so that's all I wanted to share. But thank you so much, Glamazini, for starting the conversation, and your video I thought was extremely well done. Be blessed.